So, my name is Emily and I'll be interviewing you all today. Could you please go through and introduce yourselves?
I'm Isabel.
I'm Emily.
I'm Patrick.
Okay. So in the past 7 rounds of Capsim, Erie has struggled with avoiding emergency loans. This has put Team Erie at the bottom of the simulation for most metrics, including stock price, sales, and especially cumulative profit, which was only 1.9 million as we come into round 8. Erie has worked hard to improve their metrics and has done better at making decisions over time. They've improved their forecasting and overall spending to avoid emergency loans in the past few rounds. Ultimately, Team Erie will probably end in 6th place with a current lowest market share of 12.58%. However, they've learned a lot along the way. To hear more about Erie's simulation game journey, we will interview 3 Team Erie members. Each team member will answer one question for each of 4 categories: balanced scorecard, analyst report, success measures, and successes and challenges. First category is balanced scorecard. First question is for Isabel. What was the plant utilization for round 6 and why is this so?
So the plant utilization for round 6 was 0.0, and this is because we use less than 90% of our production capabilities.
What was Erie's leverage score at the end of round 1?
Erie's leverage score was 8.0 out of 8.0 because Erie's leverage was between 1.8 and 2.8.
Okay. The third question is for Patrick. What was Erie's profit score in round 3?
Erie's profit score was 0 out of 9 because they needed an emergency loan from Big Al.
Okay. Second category is analyst report. The first question is how many points were earned for the emergency loan for round 6 and
Erie earned 100 points for the emergency loan in round 6 because no emergency loan was taken.
the second question is how many points were earned for working capital for round 7 and why?
Erie earned 100 points for the working capital in round 7 because our ratio was greater than 2.0. Our days of working capital was greater than 30 and less than 90, and we had no emergency loans.
The third question is how many market share points were earned for round 7 and why?
Erie earned 20 points because there were 6 teams competing against, and we were only greater than one of them, Baldwin.
So the third category is success measures. The first question is what success measure was the highest?
Cumulative profits and average market share at 16% each.
The second question is what success measure was the lowest?
Average ROE at 6%.
And the third question is what success measure was set at 12%?
Average asset turnover was set at 12%.
The final category is successes and challenges. The first question is what was the most difficult challenge involved in the Capsim simulation?
Knowing that no matter how accurate we believed our ideal position in products being produced to be, we are still competing against other companies whose decisions are unknown to us.
The second question is what was Erie's most successful financial statistic?
Our sales. Although we did not stand out in the industry, personally this was our best feature.
And the final question is what was Erie's least successful financial statistic?
Our least successful statistic was emergency loans. Erie received 3 emergency loans in round 2, 3, and 4.
Thank you. It was great getting the chance to speak with you all today. In the past 7 rounds of Capsim, Erie struggled tremendously. Near the beginning, Erie received multiple emergency loans, which set them back financially for later rounds. In the later rounds, when TQM was introduced, Erie was not stable enough to make large enough investments and improvements, which led them behind dealing their competitors. However, throughout the simulation, Erie has improved their forecasting and sales. Although Erie has struggled, we have also learned along the way, which is the most important thing. Now we'd like to talk a little more about what each of us have learned. So I waited to take this class until a semester before I graduated, so what I learned in the simulation solidified what I had already learned in my internships, that all resources are limited. In our classes, we talk about lots of great ideas and things to try within the world of business, but realistically, not everything can be done. Companies only have so much money and so many resources. Those things can only be spread so thin while still making an impact, and Capsim really solidified that.
I learned that there are many hidden factors in accounting that I did not realize affected other factors. Basically, I learned that although I highly understand mathematics, that the cause and effect relations in accounting I don't have a great grasp on.
What I learned from Capsim was that there's a lot more that goes into accounting, and it's not just number crunching like most people think it is. You really have to look at all aspects of a business in order to be successful. I was an accounting major going into Capsim, but after going through the simulation, I no longer know if accounting is something I want to pursue due to the complexity and everything that goes into it.
I agree with each of you, and I also learned that you have to differentiate yourself from the other competitors in the industry. I also now have a better understanding of the complexity of the manufacturing company production schedules to accommodate customer needs, and also comparing and contrasting business models of your competitors to differentiate yourself is important to be a successful business.